Despite its age, Dexter has seen a substantial rise in popularity lately, especially with the release of Resurrection. Its main concept being a serial killer that satisfies himself by killing only other serial killers gives the show its unique and enticing charm, and it also allows for a lot of hypothetical scenarios. If Dexter Morgan were to be in the universe of fictional killers or monsters who fit his code, would he be able to successfully get the kill? Well, here in this channel we talk about indie horror, and I like Dexter. So let's talk about them both. Dexter has claimed hundreds of victims. He is very experienced in his craft. He also knows how to put up a fight, as Dokes calls out in Season 2.
I know you studied martial arts in college, but I don't know what a lab geek needs with advanced jiu-jitsu.
When up against fictional horror characters in the indie space, how would he hold up? Hello my friends, and today we're gonna put Dexter up against various indie horror characters ranging from deranged people who kill children to animalistic creatures from hell. For clarification, indie horror is not just limited to games, but media overall, so there'll be a variety. On top of this, I've excluded any antagonists that have magical or supernatural powers, or are animalistic with a clear advantage. Finally, I haven't finished the show yet. That's kind of important, I've only gotten to Season 5. Which apparently is its decline, but this means that I'll be mainly going off of just general knowledge about Dexter's abilities. So if I miss a detail or underestimate Dexter, let me know in the comments. With that said, strap in and let's go. Alrighty, let's start with the indie horror antagonist. I mean, come on, you know I can't go one video without talking about FNAF, so let's just go in and get it done now. William Afton, the main antagonist for a good majority of Five Nights at Freddy's, is rather complicated to compare. We find Mr. Afton in various different conditions. He can be a simple restaurant owner or a barely human creature powered by the molten remnants of murdered children. For the sake of simplicity and fairness, we will only talk about Afton before the Springlock failure. William Afton, pre-Springlock incident, could honestly range from just your average Dexter victim to a complicated antagonist. In the court of law, he doesn't ever get charged for the murders. However, he was most certainly a suspect of which Dexter could investigate well enough to link him to the crime. That's why he was given the code after all, to catch those who slipped through the cracks. Regarding strength in combat, Afton is capable of having an advantage. In the books, Afton shows the ability to kidnap and harm grown-ups as well, kidnapping Carlton and the Silver Eyes. On top of this, should Afton be in his Springlock suit, he becomes much stronger, as shown in both the Silver Eyes and in the movie. This means that if Afton sees Dexter coming and has time to get in a Springlock suit, he could easily knock Dexter out with a swift kick, or even strangle him. In the event which Dexter wins this fight and successfully murders Afton, two conditions must be met. Dexter would have to be completely unexpected. This means that Afton would have no idea that he was being scrutinized, no idea that Dexter was coming to murder him, and no time to get into his Springlock suit and wait in the restaurant. On top of this, Dexter would not be able to kill Afton in the actual Fazbear location, despite how poetic that would be for his ritual. This is because of how loyal the haunted animatronics are to Afton, being deluded that he is their caretaker rather than their killer, and likely attacking Dexter before or as he was committing the murder. Now, in order for this kill to be absolutely flawless, it would likely take a lot of effort on Dexter's part to not only research Afton and link him to the missing children, but also find a way to take him out at Freddy's for the sake of his ritual, successfully convince the animatronics to turn against Afton, and do all of this while minimizing Afton's awareness that he's being investigated. Dexter would have to pull off Season 4 without making an obvious fake identity like Kyle Butler. Final verdict. Dexter could pull it off, but Afton would be a seasoned antagonist. It would take a lot of work. Poppy Playtime is another popular indie horror game, but its antagonist lineup mainly consists of giant toys that want to devour you. Against a good amount of these antagonists, Dexter stands no chance. Thankfully though, one particular enemy is incredibly human-like, potentially giving Dexter a good chance at a kill. Mr. Light from Chapter 3 takes the form of this life-size teacher doll thingy who went insane and ate all of her fellow teacher doll friends after being locked in a school for weeks with minimal sustenance. Mr. Light only continued to degrade mentally, even laughing at the idea of killing her former students if she was given the chance.
Where are the children? Can I see them?
No.
Probably because he knew I'd kill them all.
This instantly puts her in Dexter's scope. Now, of course, chances are Dexter wouldn't even know that there was a cannibalistic human doll hybrid far into the depths of a toy factory, but we're just gonna go with it, all right? Give me some leeway. You're clicking off. God damn it. This fight is not quite as close as it would be with Afton. Although Miss Delight does have some advantages with her large mace made of colored pencils and art supplies, along with her overall stealthy nature, Dexter's skill in both
needs with
advanced jujutsu, and him also having a great stealth skill could mitigate her advantages over him. On top of this, her biological and human-like build would probably make her prone to Dexter's syringe, putting her right on the kill table with plastic in one of the classrooms. Final verdict, Dexter would never find out about her, so she'd get away with it. However, if he did, she'd just be a regular Dexter victim. Would put up a good fight though, probably. You guys really like the Spookies video, so what could I do with you? A lot of the specimens are incorporeal or have some sort of special ability that makes them immortal. But which of them could be a fair fight? Ooh. Specimen 12 from Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion, more specifically its host, the Old Man, is the only specimen that's actually human with no other sort of crazy ability. The Old Man actually shows some decent combat capabilities, being able to charge briefly while in pursuit, and it also has a considerably effective weapon, his giant sickle. But let's be real, considering his age, I doubt his reactive abilities would be good enough to stop anything. Hell, I could probably beat him. Watch, I'll show you, watch.
Alright, look. So this how it's gonna get.
Okay, in combat, Dexter might not actually have the upper hand here. He may be able to dodge the Old Man's sickle, but chances are the Old Man could counter any attack Dexter would attempt against him. However, yeah, this is one big however. As you may know, each specimen in Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion has an introduction room before the specimen begins its first pursuit. That scared the hell out of me. In the Old Man's introduction room, you can find that he is not observant in the slightest. This man is as blind as a bat. This means that it would be incredibly easy for Dexter to sneak up and hit him with a good old tranquil and chop him up. Probably the easiest stealth kill so far. See, we would call it there, but I got another however for you. Yeah, this is even... Can you stop that? In this specimen introduction, you can find notes from the perspective of someone in the mansion who was hunted by someone else in there with him. As they tried to evade this person, they start slowly becoming more desperate and panicked. Eventually, they resort to just killing this stalker with, get this, a sickle they found in the forest. This sickle just so happens to be the sickle held by the Old Man, whom you find in this mansion with you as he hunts you down and tries to kill you. This means that once the Old Man killed the person hunting him down in the mansion itself, Specimen 12, needed a new host to possess and use to hunt others. Now, what does this mean for the Bay Harbor Butcher? This means that if Dexter were to successfully kill the Old Man, this would make Dexter the new host of the mansion, the new host of Specimen 12. Final verdict, no. He would not win this fight. He would successfully kill the Old Man, but at the cost of his sanity and his code as he succumbs to the effects of Specimen 12 itself. Okay, I got a little carried away. I did say no supernatural or magical powers, which technically the magic counts as one. Fine. Dexter wins. Moving into analog horror, let's talk about the Pumpkin Rabbit, also known as Mr. Waterman. Hey guys, really quick, I went into this section assuming that the Pumpkin Rabbit was human, which he technically isn't. But I still find this fight to be really interesting, so we're just gonna act like this is like a comparison with some sort of human version of the Pumpkin Rabbit. The Pumpkin Rabbit is from a mini-series based on the Walten files for Halloween. Ironically, I think I like it better than the main story. Both of its videos are very well made for their respective era. Now, since the Pumpkin Rabbit is an analog horror antagonist, not a lot is going to be known about him. However, he is confirmed to be human in some sort of way. For the sake of fairness, we're going to consider the Pumpkin Rabbit in the Mysterious House, the first episode, since in the second part, the Watermen somehow come back supernaturally as some kind of ghost after being burned or something, I don't freaking know. Now, after the children in the Mysterious House were murdered by the Watermans, the people in the town found out about the Watermans' habits of kidnapping children on Halloween and killing them, it's an addiction we all have, I guess. However, after persistent disappearances on Halloween, I feel like Dexter would eventually piece it together during his persistent research on who to kill next. If he has a suspicion, he would probably watch the house on Halloween night and notice that children who walk into the house never come back out. Now, would he be able to successfully take both of the Watermans? He's gotten double kills before, but the Watermans aren't just your regular couple. An important thing to evaluate is how durable their costumes are. I'm having to go solely off of looks here, unfortunately, but I will reference the second video just so I can have something to actually go off of. But if the Pumpkin Rabbit can disfigure a child with his hands alone, then this costume must be decently well made. This means that it's probably not very easy to cut through. However, at the end of the first episode, the pumpkin rabbit takes his mask off with pretty clear ease, showing a potential vulnerability in his costume. If Dexter could find a way to rip his mask off and inject him, which may be possible with a stealth attack, he could probably pull it off. But if we're being realistic, the moment the pumpkin rabbit gets a hold of him, he's dead. Dex would have to strike sometime that isn't Halloween and when the Watermans are without their costumes, which we've never seen before. Final verdict. If we're measuring just the pumpkin rabbit alone, then Dexter loses. Back in 2020, Scrutinized ran its course as a very popular indie horror game. It's one of my favorite series on Corey Kenshin's channel. And with it came two interesting antagonists, one of which became much more important to the game overall, Tanner. For our final antagonist, let's talk about him. If you haven't heard of Scrutinized, to put it very simply, you solve cases while trying to monitor your house because two mischievous folk are trying to kidnap you and sell you on the dark web. Tanner and Dexter have a lot of similarities. Besides the fact that both of their names are nerdy as hell, they like to tranquilize and kidnap you before killing you. In terms of stealth, Tanner is incredibly stealthy. He can sneak into your house without a trace, the only way to stop him being to spot him on the cameras. If you never catch him, then chances are the next chance you get to notice him, it's too late. But on the other hand, what about strength? Now, unfortunately, there's not a lot to go off of for Tanner in that department. The best benchmark I can come up with is the fact that he's capable of dragging a completely unconscious body from its house all the way to his basement in a somewhat timely manner. That could show some decent strength. It's hard to see his actual build with his lovely suit, so that's about all we can go off of. With that said, I think Dexter has the upper hand in terms of strength in combat. But Tanner's stealth and strategy is definitely considerable, likely outweighing that of Dexter's. Final verdict? I think this one is genuinely a toss-up. They're both very similar. Something like this would be very interesting to watch. Let me know what you think. How would that even go down? Like, they'd probably, like, Dexter would try to inject him, and, like, Tanner would be like, oh, whoa there, like, probably dodge it, just, like, try to inject him back, and they'd just both be, like, swinging syringes at each other. But hey, that's just my opinion. If you see something different or have your own character to put up against Dexter, let's talk about it in the comments below. This video was pretty short, so if you want a second one where I put more indie horror villains up against the Bay Harbor Butcher, let me know that as well. But as for me, I'm done talking. Thanks for sticking around and making it to this point. I plan on the next video being a bit longer. I really just liked this idea and decided to make a quick video about it. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like. It helps more than you think, as does commenting and subscribing if you think I earned it. More is coming soon. Next up is the highly requested Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion DLC and Endless Mode Death Screen video, since you guys just love the first one so much. That is a mouthful of a name, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not titling it that. Thanks a bunch for the support on that video, by the way, as well as the other two. They didn't do as well, but they both did pretty well as well. Once again, thank you for making it this far, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, my friends.